EBA family, today is March 25th. It's about 11 o'clock in the morning right now. I just got off the phone with our leadership team as well as communicating with our health department, Tri-County Health, and some changes that are coming down for Adams County specifically, which involves us and the school. I wanted to give you an update about those things. First of all, I want to thank you for your patience and your cooperation during this very difficult time for the community concerning this novel coronavirus COVID-19. What I want to do is take just a few minutes now and explain the changes that are going to be happening within our school and for you even at home. As you're aware right now, our governor has put a mandate against all schools in classroom learning up until April 17th. And so that means as of right now, we cannot gather together again as a school for in-classroom learning until April 20th. However, Adams County through TRICARE Health Department is coming out with a mandate that is now requiring a shelter in place effective tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. And so March 26th at 8 a.m., they are requesting residents shelter in place and only go out. And there's a list of things, and I'm not going to go into that list right now, but a list of things. One of those is to get materials from your school for distance learning. And so that will be a part of this video. And so that is an okay thing to do. But let me back up a little bit and give you some information. You're about to begin a brand new adventure with your family, one that you kind of have been thrown into. And so homeschooling is a challenge, and that's really where you're going to be right now. Our job is going to be partnering with you, just like it's always been partnering with you, but our role is going to be a little different during this month and a little bit into April. And so I want to give you some encouraging things and then some helps along the way. First of all, parents, let me say that your attitude about all of this is 90% of the battle. If you're frustrated, if you're feeling the stress and the pressure and it's allowing, or you're allowing it to kind of overwhelm you, it's going to spill over even into your children. And so I just want to challenge you in that regard. Please be careful. How you approach a situation in your mind oftentimes will determine the outcome. How you react in this time speaks volume to your children. And so I want to encourage you, one, respond positively. Overcome those negative emotions, and during this time, trust God. This isn't what we wanted. I'd prefer to be in school today. I would prefer to be an encouragement to your children and teach them in the way that we have been teaching them since 1973. But that's not the place God has allowed us to be. And so I want to trust Him. I want to walk by faith and believe that He is still in control, because He is. He's promised us He'd never leave us nor forsake us, and He will get us through this difficult situation. Saying that, I now want to say the education of your children is not optional. It is critical. It cannot be put on hold for an extended period of time. We already had to extend our spring vacation for one additional week, and we don't want to continue that. And so we need to get back into teaching. We need to get back into the swing of things. If we don't, there's going to be grave negative consequences. And so as a leadership team, as a school team, we've been working hard preparing a transitional educational program for you and your family. So I'm asking, please treat it with the utmost respect. Remember, we want to keep long-term thinking in mind. And so everything that we do is focusing long-term. If we were to stop the education of your child now, if they're in first grade, they wouldn't move up to second grade. If they were in second grade, they wouldn't move up to third grade. They'd have to repeat the entire year, and that would be a horrible thing. Graduations would be put on hold, and we really want to avoid that situation. And so what we're doing is we're going to an online platform for K4 through third grade. Your teachers will be sending them out, if they haven't already, a link for Abeka's Pro Teach. We've worked with them, that we've set up an online streaming platform using their teaching materials. And so that's going to help with the teaching aspect for your K4 through third graders. We are still going to be giving you the paperwork on a weekly basis. That way we don't overwhelm you, you don't lose the paperwork, but on a weekly basis we'll give you that paperwork. You can drop off the week's paperwork on Monday. I'll get to that here in just a second. and then pick up the next week's paperwork. Those of you within the ACE classes, we're going to be transitioning a little bit. Instead of doing all of your paces at once, we want you to do 3 paces in about a week's time frame. So you're going to be working at home, and you're going to be working in those paces on a weekly time frame. Parents, what we're asking is follow the procedures that have been put in place. Most of them are pretty simple to honor and work through. For example, make sure your child scores their work at the correct times. When there's a score strip, we're going to make those score keys available to your emails on a specific time frame. Sign the checkups. Make sure that the child is following that checkup. It's a quiz, and so follow the protocols. When you get to the self-test, we're actually going to want you to video conference us and verify that the work has been done correctly before we give you that okay to do the self-test, which is a pre-test. The PACE tests are going to be another little challenge that we're still working through, and so please follow those procedures. I know you're probably confused at this point in time already, and so our teachers are going to be available for you. They're going to make sure that you've got their cell phone number. There's a variety of video conferencing options that are available for us that we're going to be using to make sure that we can still tutor and train. Because one of the challenges, even with online learning and homeschool, is if your child has a question and you don't know the answer, we are still here for you. Your child will have direct access to us. And so we want to make sure that we're still here for them. We're still working during this time. And so we hope you're understanding that. We hope you're working through that. And so every Monday morning, what's going to happen is from 7:45 until about 10 o'clock in the morning, a couple of us, not everyone because of this shelter-in-place mandate, but a couple of us are going to be here to make sure that you can get the next week's paperwork or get the next paces. At that point in time, you're going to drop off the previous week's paperwork and the previous week's paces that have been completed. We will review those. We will grade the tests. We will make sure that we can get you then the next paces to follow through on that the following week. And so it's a rotational process. Again, I know it can be confusing. I'm trying to simplify it. The video is already longer than I wanted it to be, but I want to communicate with you as best I can. We've had to wait to communicate until today because everything was in flux. The shelter in place is just now happening. And so again, you can call me, you can call your child's teachers. Don't call the school office at this time because there really won't be many people in the office manning the phones to help stop the spread of the virus. And this is one of those challenging things that we had to contact our local health department to work through is if you are showing any signs of sickness, if you have in any way potentially even come in within contact with the coronavirus, don't bring your paperwork that Monday. We will figure out something to do with you, but I think that's going to be a slim amount of people, at least to start with, than it would be the majority of people. And so again, on that Monday morning from 7:45 until 10, we'll be outside, we'll be waiting, we're going to have masks on, we're going to have gloves on when we're receiving your paperwork. And this is one of the things that we worked with our local health department. We have to store all of the paperwork outside of our buildings for an entire day. And so it'll be under lock and key outside in our containers for a 24-hour period. So if you drop it off Monday at 10 o'clock, we will wait until Tuesday at 10 o'clock to actually pull that information in and start to grade the paperwork. And that's to prevent the spread of the virus. We're asking during this time that do not bring back any plastic. Do not bring back anything but the paperwork or things in paper. Or cardboard. That's the only thing the virus can, I guess, last on that for a 24-hour period. Plastic, it's showing it can survive for up to 3 days. So little things. I know it's confusing. I know it's difficult. And again, I'm sorry this video is so long. But please help us with this. Again, we're here for you. We are still working through this with you. You're still going to get the same one-on-one attention that you would get if you were here in school. It's just going to be kind of a little different through the remote process, so video conferencing. But it's still a great way to get the assistance that you need. And then I'm praying April 20th, we're back together again. I'm hoping that the things we're doing right now that our government's putting in place will help stem the tide of this that'll keep our hospitals and our doctors' offices from being overwhelmed, and that we can get through this virus. And I'm trusting God. I know we can get through it because we've been here before. We had the Spanish flu back in the early 1900s, and our society, our culture made it through. Schools were shut down during that time. Churches were shut down during that time to stem the tide, and we did it. Our God is greater than any bug, and we're going to continue to trust Him. So again, what I'm asking you right now is, starting right now, 11 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday the 25th, our office is open. If you can, swing by the office to pick up your child's paperwork for the next week. Pick up their PACEs if they don't already have them. If you can't make it in today, come by tomorrow. Again, a couple of us, and only a couple of us, will be here to give you that paperwork, but it's got to be taken care of in the next couple of days. I know, again, it's a crunch. It's a rush. It wasn't the plan, but it became the plan now that the county is going this route. And so we trust in our government, we trust in our God, and we respect the laws of our land. God bless you guys. I look forward to seeing you soon and answering as many questions as I can. You have a great day.